Welcome back to the Pilates Plus Wellness Center. Today we're going to be working with the tennis balls. So we'll start on the floor and we'll make our way to standing in a couple of minutes. So go ahead and get on a comfortable surface, and we're going to take the tennis ball and bring it right in to the top of the hamstring attachment. So we're not going to be actually sitting on it, but we'll put it right on the floor, right at the top of your hamstring attachment. All right, and then let's get comfortable. So you can start by having your hands at the back. And we'll start on this side first, our right side. It doesn't matter which one you start on. And we'll point and flex the toe. And just like all of the other homework exercises that we've given you on the channel, you spend as much time as you have, as much time as you can spend on it, is great. But, try to give each one of the positions about 30 seconds or a minute or so. So we're basically pointing and flexing out of the foot. And the other leg is anchored to and is just basically active. And once you've spent a minute or so in that position, what we'll do is change the position. So we'll bend the knee, we'll draw the leg up, and we'll start externally and internally rotating the leg. And what you really want to pay attention to during this work is your posture. So if you're sort of slouched back, you're not actually going to feel this too much. But what you're basically doing is starting to separate the hamstring from the bone and to create space in the leg. So of course when we're doing yoga, this helps us prepare for postures because the legs have already been stretched and lengthened. So after you finish your external rotation, you always want to take a moment, just like we did on the Yamana body rolling balls, and just notice what you've done, how the work really has affected you. So take the ball out and then go ahead and sit down on the floor. And what you should immediately notice is that leg sort of drops down and feels like it connects with the earth. And the other side then is sort of saying, hey, what about me? You're still up there and tight. So we're going to go over and finish up this side, and we'll just do it quickly for balance, and then we'll move on. So again, take the ball back all the way to the top of the hamstring attachment, right in front of your sits bones. And again, you would do the point and flex, and I won't do the whole side again now for the purpose of the video, but you take the time that you need, and if you need to pause, then go ahead. So second time around, you'll do the external rotation, and your hands behind you, you're seated tall, sort of leaning into the ball. All right, and then again, you'd want to sit down and observe how that feels. And now for the next one, we'll take the ball, and we'll place it actually right under the sits bone. So we're actually sitting on the ball now. And we'll bend the knees, and what we're going to do is roll side to side on the ball. So the ball is rolling inside, over, and then outside the sit bone. And you're being careful here not to roll onto your tailbone. And when you just start doing these, they might feel a little tender. It might be just a little tight, and you might not feel like you want to do them. But once you get in the habit of doing them, they'll start to feel better, and you'll start to really say, wow, I want to sit down and work on the tennis ball today. All right, so when you're finished with that one, you're just going to roll front and back. So we're on the same side now, and you might have to just change the position of your leg a little bit. Everybody's a little bit different, so you kind of have to figure out how you can stay on the ball and also get the best out of it. So I just straightened my leg, and that let me sort of drop down onto the ball a little bit more. And again, you would spend as much time as you have, not a long time. A minute or so is really enough. And then always at the end, take the ball out, sit down on the floor and observe. And again, what you should feel is that the leg sort of anchors down and drops into the earth just a little bit more. And then on your own, you would repeat and do that on the other side as well. So on the sit bone, side to side, and then front and back, and then again repeat. All right, and so here's another good one. We'll place the ball back at the top of the hamstring attachment in front of the sit bone and onto the floor. And then what we'll do here is cross that same leg, the same leg that the ball is under, over the other leg. And then we'll just gently reach out and stretch toward the toes, letting the crown of the head go, reaching the crown of the head forward in the room, breathing in and breathing out. And take the leg up and off, and then onto the floor. And then when your own time, I'd have you repeat that over on the other side too for balance. All right, so we're come to standing now. So I'll be standing up and placing the ball onto the floor, And then what I want you to do is to step onto the ball at the toes and really sort of grab onto the ball with your foot. Then you'll just anchor the other leg down as well. And we'll press down into the ball to create a little bit of stability so the ball doesn't roll away. And we'll reach from the toes will lengthen and then curl up and then lower. Pressing into the ball, lengthen the toes and stretch. And again, depending on how much time you have, but try this at least 4 or 5 times. If you can do up to 10, even better. Remember, the key is lengthening the toes first and then lifting them. Stretching and lifting. And then when you're finished, you'll roll forward then to the arch of your foot. And again, the start of this is to press down into the ball. And again, stretch the toes long and then lift. And on your own, try to give it 10 or so times. And you will notice immediately from one side to the other that the feet generally do feel a little different. We typically find that one side maybe will be a little harder to do. It might be a little bit tighter. And then again, and then we'll roll it forward and we'll come to the back of your arch. So again, we'll press into the ball, keeping the foot stable, stretching from the toes and lifting. If you can do at least 3 in each position, that's great. If you can do 10, that's good too. And then you'll finish at the back of the foot. And again, stepping down into the ball with the back of the heel, stretching the toes long, and then lowering them. So think about length out and then lift, and down, stretch. Great. Now always when you're done, you'll want to go ahead and step back and step off, and then feel the foot on the floor. And right away, it should feel as though that foot has connected down in with the earth just a little bit more. And what you'll feel like is, wow, I really want to do the other side for balance. For the time we have now, I'm going to come back down to the floor and do one other little foot exercise. And then you should have a great home foot routine that you can do on your own. Now, since I just stretched this leg, I'm going to start on this one for demonstration purposes, but again, I want you to do both feet. Holding on to the back of your foot, I want you to tap at your heel. So we're just stimulating the reflexology points in the foot, and you'll make your way up to the center of your foot, spending time on the top of the foot, and then coming into the sides of the foot. And gently move the foot side to side. This is the kind of motion that the foot actually rolls through and makes when we're walking. So you want to be sure that when you're buying shoes, that shoes have this kind of flexibility and pliability in them, because that's how the foot moves. So the foot should be able to move that way. And we'll take our hand and we'll thread it through each one of your toes, spreading in between each toe. And sometimes in the beginning when you're doing these, it's hard to get the fingers through each toe because the space is really tight. So we're trying to encourage space and depth there. So what we're basically doing is just sort of shaking hands with the foot, moving it around, giving it a little bit of a stretch. And before we take the hand out, we'll spread the fingers and lift. Come on back to the toes and give the foot a nice stretch, stretching the top of the foot. And then pull back, stretching the bottom of the foot, and then we'll come into each toe. Take the big toe in your hand, turn and pull each toe, getting a little bit of space inside. And again, you can stop and pause the video if you need to. All right, and we're going to do one final little stretch for your foot, and again, when you're finished, you would repeat on the other side. So as we come to seated position, and I'll give credit to one of my teachers, Jenny Otto, who gave me some of these stretches in yoga privates or yoga therapy trainings. And but the foot exercises, you know, they've been around a long time, and I believe in general we don't give enough attention to our feet. So we're trying to do these in all of our classes. So we're just basically taking our fingers, massaging our own foot, and spreading and stretching all the way down to each toe, giving a nice little massage and stretch to each foot. Starting up at the top part of the foot, sort of at your ankle bracelet, walking all the way down, giving a nice stretch to each foot, and even get in between every little toe, getting a little space between all these little bones, these dozens and dozens of bones in our feet. Very nice. All right, and again, when you're finished with that side, you definitely want to stand up and see how that foot feels. And right away, it should feel a little more anchored to the earth. All right, so that is it today for our foot routine. Happy feet, take care of your feet because they're your foundation. And the only other thing I want to say in terms of purchasing tennis balls, what we really recommend is that you don't buy a new tennis ball. Try to get one that's been used, that's had some activity, because the new tennis balls can be a little bit tight and hard. So if you can get a used tennis ball, they'll be best. All right, so yours in health.